There is a door waiting for you on the 23rd of October, but it will not open just because you are praying for it. It will open when you are ready for what stands behind it. Life never gives blessings to those who are desperate for them. It gives them to those who have grown strong enough to hold them. You can cry, you can beg, you can wish, but until you become prepared, the door remains closed. The truth is simple. 23rd of October is not about miracles falling from the sky. It's about the awakening of the person who has earned their own breakthrough. Many times people mistake waiting for readiness. They wait for signs, they wait for people, they will wait for luck. But 23 October is not about waiting. It is about movement, about taking responsibility for your own growth, about shaping yourself into the version that life was always trying to reveal. The door you've been praying for is not guarded by time or by fate. It is guarded by your own lack of discipline, by your fears, and by the habits that hold you small. Once you face them, the door begins to unlock. Think about the power of preparation. You cannot carry gold with weak hands. You cannot lead others if you cannot lead yourself. When 23rd October arrives, it is not the date that changes you. It is your decision to finally stop being half awake in your own life. There is no reward for desperation. There is only reward for readiness. The energy of 23 October holds a silent challenge. Prove that you are ready for the life you've been praying for. Every lesson life has sent you before this date has been part of your training. Every setback was not rejection. It was direction. The delay was not punishment. It was protection. When you understand this, something inside you shifts. You begin to see that the closed doors were never against you. They were saving you from entering rooms that your current self could not survive in. And when you finally stop fighting the timing, you learn to prepare yourself instead. That is when 23rd October becomes powerful. There comes a day when life stops testing and starts trusting. That day comes when you have grown beyond your excuses, when you have mastered the emotions that once controlled you. 23 October is that threshold, but you must stand there with awareness. Because if you are still impatient, still seeking validation, still unwilling to change your patterns, the door will remain silent. The truth is hard, but freeing the door opens when your vibration matches the opportunity. Not a moment sooner. To be ready is not about pretending to be strong. It is about building the kind of strength that stays quiet, humble, and patient. The kind of strength that knows when to act and when to let go. On a 23rd October, many will look outside for answers, but the ones who understand will look within, because readiness is an inner state, a calm knowing that you have done the work and that you are no longer afraid of losing what isn't meant for you, and that your focus is no longer on the door, but on who you are becoming. Growth doesn't happen in noise. It happens in silence, in the moments when you want to give up but keep walking anyway. It happens when you stop blaming, when you stop waiting for rescue, when you start realizing that the divine only moves when you move. This is why 23rd October carries such energy. It's a mirror. It reflects back exactly who you are. If you meet it as the same person who complained yesterday, it will show you the same closed doors. But if you meet it as someone who has accepted the lessons, who has learned patience, and who walks with clarity, it will reveal openings you couldn't see before. The process is simple but never easy. You must outgrow the mindset that wants instant results. You must clean your inner space from doubt, resentment, and jealousy, because no locked door can stand against a spirit that is truly ready. Readiness doesn't mean you have everything figured out. It means you trust yourself enough to walk through the unknown. On 23 October, that is what the universe is waiting for, a sign that you no longer need guarantees, that you are ready to live by faith, not by fear. The waiting ends when you become the person your prayers were asking for. That is the secret of 23 October. The door is not something that happens to you. It's something that responds to you. Every thought, every decision, every act of courage you show becomes a signal that tells life, I am ready. And when that signal becomes stronger than your doubt, the door opens effortlessly. So prepare, not with panic, but with peace. Prepare with discipline, with stillness, with gratitude for the lessons that shaped you. The door is real. The promise is real. But you must be ready to carry what lies behind it. On the 23rd of October, don't wait for something magical to appear. Become the reason it appears. Because when you are finally ready, life has no choice but to open what was once closed. There is a silence before every breakthrough. It is not an empty silence, it is sacred. It is the silence that prepares you for the door that will open on the 23rd October. Many people mistake this quiet season as abandonment, as if life has stopped listening. But in truth, this is the phase where life listens the most. The absence of movement is not proof that nothing is happening. It is proof that something powerful is building within you beyond your sight. On 23rd October is not only about the door that opens, but about the silence that came before it. Those days when nothing made sense, when prayers felt unanswered, when your patience was stretched thin, they were not wasted. They were shaping you. They were turning your emotions into strength, your waiting into wisdom. The silence before 23 October is not punishment, it is protection. It is life teaching you endurance before reward, humility before honor, peace before power. In those silent seasons, you are not being ignored. You are being trained. The lessons that can only be learned in noise are shallow, but the ones learned in silence stay with you forever. Silence strips you of distraction of the world's noise and brings you face to face with your truth. It teaches you to hear your own voice again. On the 23rd of October, those who learned from their silence will rise differently. They will not be easily shaken because they discovered who they are when no one was watching. The universe does not rush transformation. Everything moves in cycles. Just like night prepares the dawn, silence prepares the breakthrough. You cannot rush 23 October. You must arrive ready. The quiet days that led here were part of that readiness. Every unanswered prayer, every slow morning, every heavy night was doing something unseen. They were softening the parts of you that resisted change and building the patience that keeps you grounded when the door finally opens. Growth often feels like nothing is happening, but that is an illusion. The seed does not sprout the day it is planted. It breaks, it dissolves, it loses its old form underground before it ever meets the light. That's what silence does. It breaks what no longer belongs to you. It dissolves who you used to be. So when 23 October comes, you emerge renewed, not pretending to be strong, but actually transformed. The quiet made you ready. You must understand this truth. Silence is not the opposite of progress. It is progress in disguise. When life grows quiet, it is asking you to go inward. It is telling you that the answers will no longer come from the outside. They will come from your own reflection, from your stillness, from your decision to stop running from yourself. 23 October is the moment when all the inner work starts to show on the surface. But the real victory happened long before. In the silence you endured without giving up. Many people fear silence because it exposes what's inside. It shows the anxiety, the doubt, the impatience. But that exposure is healing. You cannot master what you refuse to face. The silence before 23 October is like a mirror that forces you to see everything clearly. Your habits, your weaknesses, your distractions. You begin to understand that it was not the world that needed to change. It was your own alignment. Once you accept that truth, you stop fighting time and start trusting process. That trust is what opens doors. There is peace hidden inside the stillness, a kind of peace that cannot be found in noise or success. It is the peace that comes when you finally stop searching for proof and start believing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. On the 23rd of October, this peace will be your strength because when life begins to move again, you will move from calm, not chaos. You will no longer chase, you will attract. You will no longer question, you will know. Think of how storms work. Before the lightning strikes, Before the thunder rolls, there is silence. The air grows still, heavy with unseen energy. That's what happens before divine breakthroughs. The silence carries the charge of something about to change. If you remain still and patient through it, the moment it breaks, it transforms everything. That's the energy of 23 October, calm before creation, stillness before movement, preparation before revelation. You are not behind. You are being refined. The silent period that brought you here was necessary. It removed the noise that made you doubt yourself. It separated what you wanted from what you needed. It helped you realize that your value does not depend on results, but on who you become while waiting. When 23rd October comes and you step through that open door, you will understand why the silence lasted so long. You will see that it was never meant to break you. It was meant to balance you. So honor the silence. Respect the stillness that shaped you. On the 23rd October, when the door opens, do not rush through it with fear. Walk through it with grace and knowing that the quiet moments were your preparation for power. Every second of waiting, every moment of emptiness, every breath of uncertainty, all of it was divine timing. And now, as the silence ends, you are no longer the same person who entered it. You are wiser. You are deeper. You are finally ready for what you've been praying for. There are doors that will never open through force. You can push, you can demand, you can try to control the timing, but nothing moves until you align with what you are asking for. 23 October carries that exact lesson. It is not a day of struggle, it is a day of alignment. It teaches that power is not in pushing against life, but in moving with it. The more you fight the flow, the more resistance you create. The moment you learn to align, things begin to unfold without pressure, without conflict, without chaos. You have been praying for the door to open. You have been waiting for the moment, for the sign, for the breakthrough. But 23 October is not about waiting for miracles. It is about becoming the person who moves in harmony with life. When you are aligned, opportunities do not hide from you. They find you. The problem is never the door, it's the disconnection within. When your emotions say one thing, your actions another, and your heart is somewhere else, how can the universe respond clearly? 23 October arrives to remind you that what you desire is already available, but you must meet it in frequency, not in force. Alignment means your thoughts, your actions, and your energy move in the same direction. You no longer say you want peace while living in chaos. You no longer say you want growth while clinging to comfort. You no longer say you want love while refusing to heal. When everything within you begins to speak the same language, life listens, and you are not the mind. That's when doors open, not because you demand them to, but because they recognize you are ready to walk through them. 23 October symbolizes that readiness, the harmony between what you want and who you have become. Force comes from fear. It comes from the feeling that if you don't push harder, you will lose your chance. But alignment comes from trust. It comes from knowing that what belongs to you cannot be taken from you. On 20th October, you must choose which energy to live from. You can continue to fight, to prove, to control, or you can align, trust, and let things unfold naturally. The truth is, life responds faster to calm energy than it ever will to desperate energy. Force creates friction, alignment creates flow. Think of how nature works. The river doesn't push the mountain. It flows around it. The tree doesn't force its growth, it aligns with the seasons. Everything in existence operates through balance, not through battle. 23 October asks you to remember this. The moment you stop trying to manipulate outcome, you give space for life to do its work. The moment you release control, you create room for miracles. Alignment is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is understanding that peace achieves more than pressure ever will. To align means to trust yourself. It means your decisions are no longer guided by impatience, but by clarity. It means you move when you feel peace, not when you feel panic. On 23rd October, that is your task to stop chasing and start matching. If you want growth, align with discipline. If you want love, align with kindness. If you want freedom, align with responsibility. Everything you desire has a vibration. You cannot attract it while living in contradiction. There was a time when you believed effort alone was enough. You worked harder, you stayed longer, you gave more, but nothing seemed to move. That was not failure, that was misalignment. The energy behind your action matters more than the action itself. 23 October reveals this truth clearly. When your effort comes from fear, it drains you. When it comes from alignment, it strengthens you. The same step can either tire you or transform you. It depends on the energy behind it. Alignment is silent power. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to force it. You just live it. When you are aligned, your presence itself becomes magnetic. You start attracting what once ran away from you. People, opportunities, and ideas begin to meet you halfway because your vibration has become clear. On the 23rd October, the universe listens closely. It listens not to your words, but to your frequency. It listens to the calmness in your soul, to the trust in your actions, to the peace in your waiting. That is the sound that opens doors. When you force something, it slips away. When you align with it, it stays. The same way you cannot make the sun rise earlier by shouting at the sky. You cannot make your breakthrough arrive before its time, but you can prepare your energy so that when it does rise, you are ready to receive it. That is what 23 October represents, the moment where your preparation meets your patience, where effort meets timing, where inner peace meets external progress. Let 23 October be the reminder that life is not a fight. It is a dance. You move, it moves. You breathe, it breathes. Every time you try to control, you lose rhythm. Every time you relax into trust, you return to harmony. The door you've been praying for will not open because you broke it down. It will open because you became still enough to hear the lock click. So stop pushing, breathe, align. Let 23 the October mark the moment where you stop struggling against life and start walking with it. When your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions move in unity, there is nothing that can remain close to you. The energy of alignment is unstoppable because it doesn't compete, it cooperates. It doesn't chase, it attracts. It doesn't rush, it knows. And when you reach that level of calm clarity within yourself, 23 October will not only open the door you've been praying for, it will show you that the door was waiting for you to align all along. Detachment is the hidden key that unlocks the door you've been praying for. Most people hold on too tightly to what they want. They pray, they plan, they push, but deep down they are afraid to lose control. They don't realize that their attachment becomes the lock itself. 23 October arrives to teach that true receiving begins only after release. You cannot grasp your blessing with a closed fist. You must open your hands. You must let go. When you stop chasing, you stop blocking. When you stop controlling, you start allowing. That is the secret behind detachment. It's not about caring less. It's about trusting more. It's about knowing that what is meant for you doesn't need to be forced and what leaves was never meant to stay. 23 October reminds you that holding too tightly to outcomes suffocates the very life you want to experience. It's a day that tests your ability to surrender with peace, not with panic. To detach does not mean you give up. It means you shift your focus from when will it come to who am I becoming? Because life doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you are ready for. When you stop obsessing over the timing, you begin to prepare yourself for the arrival. 23 October carries the energy of alignment through surrender. It whispers, let go of your need to control every step. Trust the direction even when the path is invisible. People often believe attachment shows love, passion, or commitment. But attachment is often fear disguised as devotion. It's the fear of losing, the fear of not being enough, the fear of missing what you desire. 23 October invites you to release that fear because the more you fear losing something, the more you distance yourself from it. The vibration of need repels while the vibration of faith attracts. Detachment shifts you from need to trust. You must understand that life flows through open hands. Imagine water. Try to grab it and it slips away. Keep your hands open and it fills them. The same law applies to your blessings. 23 October is that moment when you learn to hold everything lightly. Your plans, your relationships, your dreams, not because you don't value them, but because you value your peace more. You stop trying to control what's not yours to control. You stop clinging to doors that are meant to close. You stop confusing effort with obsession. Detachment teaches calm confidence. It tells the universe, I trust your timing more than my fear. It doesn't beg for signs or demand results. It simply stays centered, knowing that everything unfolds exactly as it should. 23 October rewards those who have learned this calm, the ones who can wait without anxiety, who can act without attachment, who can love without clinging. They are the ones who experience true freedom. Letting go is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. It means you have matured enough to understand that some things will come and some will not, and both are blessings. 23 October becomes your day of quiet power when you stop measuring your worth by what stays and start recognizing your growth by what you can release. You no longer chase because you know chasing comes from lack. You choose peace because peace attracts everything chasing you. When you are detached, your energy becomes clear. You stop sending signals of confusion. You stop saying you trust while secretly doubting. The universe can finally respond without resistance. 23rd October opens the way for those who trust deeply, not those who wait fearfully. The energy of detachment clears the path because surrender is not the end of an effort. It is the purification of it. You still work, you still dream, you still move, but without anxiety. You no longer force, you flow. There is beauty in release. There is a sacred rhythm in surrender. Every time you let go of control, life takes over with precision. What you once tried to plan begins to unfold naturally. The doors that once resisted suddenly open. 23 October symbolizes that turning point, the moment where you understand that your need to control has been holding you back more than your failures ever did. You stop pushing. You start trusting. And when you trust, you make space for the miracle to move. Every spiritual door opens with the same motion, letting go. Let go of fear. Let go of timelines. Let go of the belief that your destiny will pass you by. On the 23rd of October, do not carry the weight of yesterday's impatience. Do not drag your doubts into tomorrow's opportunity. This day is meant for lightness. Walk into it with open hands, open heart, open mind. That is how you signal that you are ready. Detachment is freedom. It gives you peace before the answer arrives. It allows you to smile even when you don't yet see the result. It allows you to live fully in the present, knowing that what is meant for you is already finding its way. 23 October is your reminder that you don't need to force anything to make it yours. The power is in your calmness. The strength is in your stillness. The miracle is in your trust. So let go. Stop holding what wants to move. Stop fighting what wants to flow. Stop clinging to old versions of yourself and start welcoming the space that new blessings need. 23 October will open the door you've been praying for, but only when your hands are free enough to receive it. The greatest misunderstanding is believing that the door you are praying for exists outside of you. It does not. It has always been inside you. The door you are waiting to open on the 23rd of October is not made of wood or steel. It is made of awareness, courage, and understanding. It is not locked by time. It is locked by your own resistance to see who you truly are. When you grow within, life grows around you. When you awaken within, the world responds. 23 October is not coming to change your life. It is coming to reveal the power that has been hidden within you all along. For too long, people have been searching outward. They pray for signs, chase opportunities, and hope for miracles from the sky. But the truth is quiet and simple. Everything you are seeking is already inside you. The peace, the strength, the clarity, the direction, all of it has been waiting for you to notice it. 23 October stands as a reminder that the external door will open only when your internal door has opened first. The outer world mirrors the inner one. When your heart changes, your path changes. When your energy aligns, your life transforms. You have been praying for something, a breakthrough, a new beginning, a release. But maybe the reason it hasn't appeared yet is because you've been looking in the wrong place. You have been waiting for life to move, but life has been waiting for you to move inward. 23 October is the moment to stop seeking and start awakening. It's not about finding the right time. It's about becoming the right person. When you shift from wanting to becoming, everything begins to align naturally. The external door is a reflection. When you feel unworthy, it stays closed. When you feel doubtful, it stays silent. But when you begin to trust your inner voice, when you start to act from clarity instead of fear, something extraordinary happens. The lock turns from within. 23 October is not a date of luck, it is a date of awakening. It will not magically open doors for those who wait. It will respond to those who have opened themselves first. The journey inward is not easy. It requires honesty to face your fears, to see your patterns, to understand where you've been holding yourself back. But this is where real transformation begins. You cannot enter new levels of life while carrying the same old version of yourself. The door opens only when you are willing to leave behind everything that no longer serves your growth. That's why 23 October feels powerful. It calls you to evolve, not to escape. Every struggle you've faced before this day has been a message leading you inward. Every delay was pushing you closer to reflection. Every disappointment was showing you that what you were searching for out there could only be found within. The silence before 23 October was not emptiness, it was an invitation. Life was saying, look inside. The moment you do, the world outside starts to change without effort. The inner door opens with awareness. When you begin to understand your emotions, your patterns, your attachments, you no longer walk in blindness. You stop reacting to everything that happens around you. You begin to choose consciously. That is the real freedom. On the 23rd of October, you are not waiting for a miracle to appear. You are realizing that the miracle has always been you, your mind, your heart, your energy. When you rise in understanding, everything around you rises with you. Stop believing that someone else will open it for you. Stop waiting for permission. Stop hoping the right time will arrive. The right time begins the moment you decide to step inward. On the 23 October, the world will reflect back exactly what you have become. If you have grown wiser, it will show you wisdom. If you have found peace, it will show you opportunities wrapped in calmness. The door does not discriminate. It responds to vibration. There is a sacred truth hidden in this. Once you awaken, you realize that the universe was never testing you. It was teaching you how to see. The door was never closed. It was waiting for you to notice that you were standing on the wrong side of it, searching outward instead of inward. 23rd of October marks the moment when vision turns inward, when you understand that no external event will fix what must first be healed inside. This is where power begins. When you stop blaming the world, stop waiting for signs, and start trusting the strength that has been sleeping inside you. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become a creator of direction. You stop asking, when will it happen? And start declaring, I am ready. That is when the door responds. That is when 23rd October becomes not just another day, but the moment of rebirth. You must remember, every external achievement fades, but inner awakening never dies. The door within you will open once and it will never close again. Because once you have seen your own power, you cannot return to your old blindness. On the 23rd of October, let this be your realization that the light you've been chasing has always been your own reflection. So breathe deeply. Let go of the search outside. Sit with yourself. Listen. The answers you've been praying for are whispering beneath your thoughts, waiting for silence to be heard. When you finally trust that everything you need lives within, You will stop chasing doors and start walking freely through life itself. And on the 23rd of October, when the moment comes, you will not be surprised when the door opens, because deep inside, you will know it opened the day you awakened.